The AAA gaming landscape in recent years has been an absolute roller coaster, with games like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Black Myth Wukong coming out and completely blowing away gamers everywhere. Then games like Concord, Dragon Age the Veilguard, and Assassin's Creed Shadows come out and completely wipe out faith in these studios' ability to produce great games, especially when considering the budget for these games. The most recent example is Assassin's Creed Shadows. When your game comes out and it's labeled as okay or meh, and $400 million was spent on it, that is a major letdown for fans. $400 million spent making a game, and I think most gamers would like to imagine that this means the devs were able to pack the most top-tier fun into a game possible. And instead, the game becomes a studio killer. And that's exactly what's happening with Ubisoft. They had to create a whole new subsidiary company with 25% ownership by Tencent to control their major IPs, with the possibility that if another game performs poorly, the main Ubisoft company may have to shut down completely. Now, I will say one of the positives of these letdown games from AAA studios is that gamers are becoming much more discerning. We don't buy up each and every game with a big name just because it's big and used to be good. We are actually looking at the videos, leaks, and news on these games and making informed decisions on our purchases, or deciding not to purchase altogether. With the prevalence of social media, this makes it even easier for people to hear about, see, or share when games look incredible or when they look like a disaster in the making. And people will share every detail they can find, from how much the game will cost at launch, to development costs overall, to even developer political views and everything else in between. Some might call this toxic or unhealthy for the gaming industry, but I think this is a good thing. Us gamers should be able to make a decision on a purchase based on anything we care about. After all, we are the consumer. We are the ones with the buying power. And we decide the fate of these games and ultimately the fate of these studios. And all of the melodrama aside, all we really want is a fun gaming experience. Most people play games for the escapism. A stressful day at work, a long day of classes, the kids were especially rowdy today, or whatever the case may be. And when we can get these insanely fun experiences without any of the politics or DEI or any of that crap we don't care about coming from some of these AAA studios, we will take it. Games like Lethal Company, Balatro, and Schedule 1. And what do these games have in common? They were made by indie devs. Each of these games was made by one person, working on a passion project and pouring everything into it to make something pure and truly great. They don't try to monetize their games to the teeth either. With the industry standard being $70 and Nintendo recently upping that to $80 for digital and $90 for a physical copy, these games blow those AAA studio games out of the water in terms of price for the level of fun you get out of them. Lethal Company is $10. Balatro is $15. Schedule 1 is $20. These games are a fraction of the price of AAA studio games with no battle passes, microtransactions, or paid DLC. And these games all cost basically nothing except the developer's spare time, and were all insanely successful. After the Steam cut of 30%, Lethal Company made around $100 to $120 million. Balatro made around $28 to $54 million, and Schedule 1 has made around $40 to $60 million. Now let's just compare that to my AAA examples from earlier. Concord lost $391 to $397 million. Dragon Age the Veilguard lost somewhere around $2 to $123 million. And Assassin's Creed Shadows has lost $249 to $272 million so far. In my opinion, AAA is just not sustainable if the game is not super entertaining, super original, or some combination of the two. If a company has to make $800 million so that it can afford to make another $400 million game after that, the game has to be a blowout success each and every time. And as I said before, we gamers have been burned so often that we are much more aware of these mid, grindy, mindless, or straight up garbage games. So AAA studios really cannot get away with providing anything less than the best gaming experiences. But with indie devs, they're spending no money or very little money to make their games. They are passionate about their games, pouring everything into them to make them as fun as they can possibly be. And they are focused. It's one person or very few people, and they're able to keep track of everything and keep the game development moving as one whole. With huge AAA studios, it's hundreds or sometimes even thousands of employees working on very specific parts and often not a clear image of the whole game. It's easier for AAA studios to have a disjointed mess. Easier to have too large of a scope, when a narrower scope with more focus on fun mechanics and gameplay would have been much more successful. There is so much competition in the video games industry, and there's more every year. In 2020, there were around 12,200 indie games released on Steam. That number shot up to 19,100 in 2024. With so much competition, these AAA studios really can't afford to make anything but the best games. And when you look at how easy it is to get into making games, and how it gets easier every year, the competition is only going to get more and more fierce. With tools like RPG Maker, you can make a JRPG-style game in a week if you use the assets provided in the engine. Game Maker is free if you're only making your game for desktop and mobile. Unity Personal is free if you make less than 200K per year. And Unreal Engine is free if you make less than $1 million. And with Unity and Unreal Engine, you really have everything you need to make a game on par with these AAA studios, especially if you're willing to use free assets that you can find in their stores. I don't think AAA studios will ever go away completely. If a studio has strong leadership and really talented devs, I think it's possible to keep making these blowout successes to keep these AAA studios going. When people can buy incredible games for $20 or less, why not save the $50 on that AAA game that doesn't even look that good? I do hope this shift in the gaming industry does become a wake-up call for these AAA studios. I don't want studios to go away, and I think it's the same for most gamers out there. At the end of the day, we just want to play fun games. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.